I think men are better than women.
She's kidding.
No, I'm not. They provide for us, and we must obey them because they are our master.
This is another day in my life as a 25-year-old stay-at-home girlfriend.
This is my day in the life as a stay-at-home girlfriend.
Picture this. A perfectly coiffed woman in a vintage dress pulling a freshly baked pie out of the oven as her husband walks in from work. She greets him with a smile. Dinner is on the table. The kids are clean and her house looks like a Pinterest board. No, you're not trapped in a 1950s time loop. Welcome to the modern day world of the tradwives. You might not know what the heck a tradwife is, and I would be remiss to prevent the queen of the tradwives herself from explaining. Take it away, Estee.
If you are not familiar with the term tradwife, it is a woman who chooses to live a more traditional life with ultra-traditional gender roles.
Think Stepford Wives meets Instagram baddie. Sounds delightful, right? Why is the harm in women wearing pretty dresses, acting like it's still the 1950s? Who wouldn't want to spend all day baking cupcakes and wait for their handsome hubby to return home? Well, a lot of women, apparently.
Here are some traits that make a woman a red flag. So men, look out for these red flags. And women, if you have these red flags, good luck attracting a high value man. Number one is if she's a feminist. I mean, I feel like that's a really obvious one. If she's a feminist, she's always going to want to be dominant over you. Typically, she's going to be pro-choice. Typically, she's not going to be super kid-friendly. Typically, she's going to want to be a career woman, a boss babe, whatever you want to call it. Stay away from feminist.
I have a much better idea. Maybe don't listen to her. She's only 19. Her brain is not even fully developed yet.
And don't get me started on these tradwife spin-offs that I am seeing all over social media. These girls that I'm about to show you aren't exactly tradwives, like they're not technically wives yet, but they love to embrace the idea that the man is the boss. I don't need to think because my man does it for me. I'm not supposed to work, I'm supposed to be pretty.
So it's 2 p.m. and I'm just done crying because people expect me to work. Do people not understand that I'm just a girl? What do you want from me? I'm supposed to go to yoga classes, day drink with my girlfriends in a cute cafe, get massages, get my hair done, get my nails done, and that's it. That's supposed to be it. Like, give me a break. I'm just a girl.
I don't know what's going on, and I simply don't want to know.
If I'm walking around the city with my boyfriend, I will be turning off my brain. Like, it is simply not my job to navigate or check subway times. Like, I'm there to yap. And if I'm blindly walking into oncoming traffic, I expect him to stop me.
Baby, I'm yours. Don't forget, I'm also just a girl.
Yikes. I know it's meant to be funny, and honestly, some of them are, but I'm just like, I really hope the younger generation of girls who are growing up watching social media aren't watching this kind of content and thinking it's genuinely aspirational to strive to live this kind of life. These videos are usually hashtagged something like princess treatment. But girl, you are not in your princess era. You're acting like a doormat. Get yourself a little gumption and stand on your own 2 feet. Use your brain. You were given one for a reason.
No one has the guts to talk about this topic, so I will be the first. These soft life girlies, they are selling you a dream that could quickly turn into a nightmare.
As a divorce lawyer, I wouldn't suggest that you aspire to become a stay-at-home girlfriend. Nothing is ever free in this world. And the price you pay as a stay-at-home girlfriend is your autonomy, your independence, your freedom, which all leads to you being vulnerable. What happens when your boyfriend breaks up with you 10 years down the line?
Okay, hi. So, as I was editing this video, I stumbled upon this brilliant cautionary tale. See this girlie here? This is Kendall K. She became the poster girl for the stay-at-home girlfriend aesthetic on TikTok. When she met her then boyfriend Luke, she walked away from her lucrative OnlyFans career to lean into that soft, feminine life, baking cookies, cleaning, depending on a man financially, because why should a girl have to pay bills or earn money, right? Not very feminine, not very soft, not very demure. On the contrary, Kendall's life seemed idyllic. Fancy holidays, expensive restaurants, days spent doing long skincare routines, making coffee for Luke, and doing Pilates.
This is everything I did for my boyfriend today as a stay-at-home girlfriend. The first thing I always do is make him a coffee. He loves these lattes. Then he handed me his water bottle to fill up. Made Luke some chicken salad on toast. Then made him another latte because he always likes to have a second one in the afternoon. Tonight I made lamb meatballs, which is one of Luke's favorite meals. I made him tea.
But then he dumped her. She's back on OnlyFans, and she's since realized that being a stay-at-home girlfriend wasn't actually all it was cracked up to be. She now says herself that the household chores took over her life. She felt like she was being restricted and kept in a box. Now Kendall's a smart cookie and she'll come back from this, but it's a pretty striking example of what can happen when you give up your independence for someone else. It's not such a soft feminine life when you you end up single, living back at home with your parents and living off your savings. I feel like, as usual, I'm gonna go against the grain and piss people off with my opinion. But part of me envies these stay-at-home girlfriends and wives. I understand the desire to not work and stay at home and spend quality time with my children and cook for my adoring husband who doesn't actually exist and maintain a clean, cozy home. I know the popular consensus is that women should be working and have a career and put their kids in daycare and be independent. And yet the fact of the matter is a lot of women don't want that.
I'm gonna ever stop to consider that some of us did not want to leave the kitchen. Like, I would make all the sandwiches and grab all the beers if it meant I could stay home.
Bring back the patriarchy. I want to stay at home. I want to take care of my kids. I want a man to take care of me.
So you want to be a housewife?
I want to be a housewife.
Okay.
Yeah.
The old traditional way?
Traditional.
But they are made to feel like they are failing womankind if they don't want to climb the corporate ladder. They're lazy for wanting to stay home and raise their own children. That being a stay-at-home wife and mother is pathetic. After all, it wasn't that long ago that women had to fight for the right to just be allowed to leave the house, to get a job, the right to vote. And after all of that, these women want to go backwards? Make it make sense? Well, it does make sense, actually. We just don't like to hear it.
Okay, here's why more and more young women are rejecting feminism and just do not want to be associated with it at all. I think these younger generations have really, really good BS detectors. So on its face, feminism sounds great, right? Equality for all and girls supporting girls. That sounds so beautiful. But the second you kind of test that out, you very quickly find that it has just become a total facade. If I'm putting on makeup for my husband to come home from work, or if I'm cooking for him, they get upset. They don't like that. Like, whoever the head of PR is for feminism needs to be fired. They are doing a horrible job because almost all of their representatives who are outspoken, they just seem so miserable, so hateful, so bitter. It doesn't look fun at all.
Stay out of my kitchen and I will stay out of the workplace. I don't want equality. I want to be someone's dainty princess, feminine princess. Dinner ready on the table when he comes home and he says this smells delicious. It's the best meal I've ever had. Tells me how much he loves me. That's what I want. I don't want equality. You can have the workplace. Leave it to the men. I'll stay in the kitchen.
I mean, you can have all that and still want equality. What? You can have a man who enjoys your cooking and who considers you his dainty princess while still having equal rights? How has this become so misconstrued? To be fair, I can kind of see why the feminists are mad.
You are under spells, people! You're under spell. I ain't under no spell. You are!
The thing is, it is not inherently anti-feminist to want to be a tradwife. I know this is going to ruffle a few feathers, and feel free to comment in the comment section down below. We can have a discussion. But the way I understand it, is not the core message of feminism to have choice and agency? Is it not about having the freedom to decide without being constrained by traditional gender roles?
We live in a day and age where traditional homemaking has been forgotten about and even looked down on, where women are fighting to be in the same positions as men, indoctrinated to focus more on their careers and less on the home. When God created men and women more than just biologically different, our roles are meant to complement each other, not to compete. Our husbands are to be the breadwinners as we are to be the bread makers.
I mean, I get her point, but I'm a female and I know that I would lose my mind entirely if I was forced to be a stay-at-home wife and mother. But I guess that's the whole point, isn't it? That even though we're women, we can have different values and life goals to each other. And some women do actually thrive being homemakers and tradwives, and some women would probably shrivel up and die if they were forced into that lifestyle. Like Vita here.
We got married and had a child, and I have to say I was kind of excited to be a homestay mom. Little did I know that I would enjoy it only for 4 months, and then the reality hit. I felt like I was completely losing myself. I felt like a complete vegetable. That's just the word, how I felt. Vegetable. Like I had nothing to say. The most irritating questions was when my husband would go back from work and he would ask me how my day was. And I had nothing to tell.
And let us not forget that domestic work like cooking and cleaning and raising children is work.
Career. This is my career. I'm not wasting my college education, wasting my talent, or wasting my time. I don't long for a dream job or dream about the day I can go back to work.
Being a stay-at-home mom is a job. Being a stay-at-home wife is a job. Taking care of the house while your husband provides for you is a job. So when a woman stays at home while her husband provides for her and isn't working, she is working, and her husband is covering the cost of that work.
I'm not gonna lie, don't tell the feminists, but I would rather stay home and cook and clean. There's something within me as a woman, maybe it's almost turning 25, that got me thinking, like, this cooking and cleaning thing isn't bad. Like, I just don't understand why women wanted to work. What was the point? Like, there is nothing satisfying about working.
I really do love as a woman that I'm allowed to work. I love it. It's great. We can all work as women. But when we fought for our rights to work as women, we take into account our energy, our hormones, how sleepy we are, because I don't have the energy to do anything besides simply exist.
The man, he is the provider, the main breadwinner. He goes out of the house and works. The woman, the wife, she is the homemaker.
We're tradwives. We believe in gender roles in our marriage.
We're tradwives. We believe a clean home is a happy home.
We're tradwives. Always obey our husbands.
We're tradwives. We choose to stay home and support our husbands.
Tradwives. We always have dinner ready when our husbands get off work.
Tradwives. We always satisfy our husband's needs.
While some stay-at-home wives and girlfriends would have you believe that they spent all day getting their hair done and doing their nails and going to the gym and lazing by the pool while their provider man goes out and works.
Day in my life as a stay-at-home girlfriend in Miami.
Personally, I believe I'm not meant to work. I'm meant to do this all day.
That's not really the reality. Okay, maybe for the stay-at-home girlfriends of billionaires, but usually these men will expect the women to earn their keep. They're not showing the reality of having to scrub the toilet, or the mold from the shower grout, or doing the 5th load of washing that day, or washing the dishes night after night after night. I hate to ruin the illusion, because the illusion is pretty damn tempting, even to me, but us girls have to accept reality for what it is. And while the trophy girlfriends and tradwives of the internet are doing the absolute most to convince the rest of the female population that living this way is stress-free and glamorous and traditional and biologically correct and akin to princess treatment, I don't doubt that for some of them, that's exactly how it is. For a lot of them, it's all an elaborate ruse for social media.
I'm going to explain to you why being a stay-at-home girlfriend or stay-at-home wife is the dumbest thing you could do as a woman. I know it's currently glamorized on TikTok at the moment that it's amazing to have a provider man for you, looking after you, paying all the bills, and you can go to Pilates, drink your $7 matchas, and that's your existence for the rest of your days. However, here's a problem with this. If this man cheats on you, leaves you one day after 20 years of being married, finds the secretary more attractive than you and walks away from you, your entire existence is absolutely
which is why I'm very glad to be partnering with Revolut on this video. Revolut is a low-cost money app already used by over 55 million people worldwide. You can create an account in a few minutes and you'll instantly get access to a range of money management features. No mountains of paperwork, no queuing in long lines. Plus, right now, they're giving $40 when you sign up to Revolut and make your first purchase. Head to the link in the description box to find out more. In all honesty, managing your own money is feminine. Financial independence is not boring, unladylike, or a man's job. You can take control of your money like the queen that you are and have fun doing it. For example, with Revolut, you can customize your own card. You can pick your own color, get your name or practically anything you want printed on it in a cute font. It's like carrying a little piece of your feminine independence in your wallet every day to remind you that you are that girl. Plus, this card is so high quality and so chic. Your money, your name, your style, your card. I am naturally crap at managing money. So for me, one of the handiest features that Revolut offers is that you can create pockets. They're kind of like these little savings accounts where you can put money aside for anything that you want. Maybe it's a holiday, a new handbag, that new outfit you've been eyeing up, a house. You can even automatically round up spare change into your pocket, making saving effortless. Revolut also gives you simple but smart tools to make managing your money that much smoother. Travel perks like discounted airport lounge passes, eSIMs, and even travel insurance, competitive exchange rates, and low foreign transaction fees when you're spending overseas. Custom card security tools like disposable cards for one-off payments, and control of your spending, all in one easy-to-use app right there on your phone. So don't forget, you can sign up to Revolut using the link in my description box down below and get $40 when you make your first purchase. Or to make it easy, you can also use this QR code here. Having your finances in order gives you the power to choose. And choice is empowering. And an empowered girl is a happy girl. But for me, the most sinister part of this whole trophy girlfriend and tradwife movement is the emphasis on serving the man and being submissive.
There isn't a woman on planet Earth that doesn't want to be led by their
Number one rule as a tradwife. This is your duty as a wife. A man's home is his castle, so he should be treated as a king.
The problem is, they think that they are free when they work for their boss.
but slaves when they serve their husband. Yeah, the difference is if your boss is an asshole, you can get a new boss. If your husband's an asshole, he's still your husband.
Maybe that's just because I'm a brat and I hate being told what to do. But have we not learned anything from history? Imagine being a woman and thinking that men are better than us. Traitor! I love men, but I don't think they're any better or worse than women.
The moment I'd rather be a stay-at-home mom and do chores. Yeah, well, shocker. That's what we're kind of designed to do, honey.
I mean, speak for yourself, lady. I provide for myself, I don't obey anyone, and I still love men.
If my man doesn't like it or agree with it, I'm not doing it. I know, there are Gen Zs out there screaming right now, but that's my man, that's my fiance, that's my best friend, that's my life partner. We're each other's forever. Why would I do something that my man doesn't agree with or want me to do? I know where things got misunderstood in this generation, but your partner is supposed to be above everyone, above everything. But why would you do something that they don't agree with or makes them feel uncomfortable? They have your best interests at heart, so you know it's coming from a good place. When they tell you, I don't think you should do that, you shouldn't do it. Do you understand? Like, they have your best interests at heart. Plain and simple. If my man doesn't like it, I'm not doing it. If he doesn't agree with it, I'm not doing it. Out of basic respect in the relationship. I know where things got lost in translation.
It's kind of bewildering to me that people actually think like this. I mean, I get the premise of what she's saying, but also, red flag. Your man shouldn't come before anything. You should be partners, and partners should have equal say. But also, you are your own person. You're a woman, yeah, but why does that make you any lesser than a man? If your man doesn't want you to do something, okay, listen to him, hear him out, hear his perspective, and then make your own decision. If you're going to allow yourself to just be bossed around like a child, I can't help but feel like that's only going to breed resentment down the line. And actually, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I truly believe it. I think men actually like women who have a backbone. Now, there is a hugely religious undertone to this submissive sentiment. Now, I absolutely believe in a higher power. I pray every single night, but I wouldn't consider myself particularly religious as such. So I'm gonna let these lovely ladies explain.
I got married at 18. Feel like in my role as a wife, I have learned that in order for me to be a good mother, in order for me to be good in our marriage, I am putting him first and I am serving him, and that's my priority.
I personally think that being submissive to anyone, including your husband, is dangerous for a few reasons. Just because the wife is a woman should not automatically give her husband, just because he's a male, the right to rule over her. What the fuck? Who said he should get to make all the decisions? Okay, the Bible did. But in 2025, I just don't think that's wise. I understand that naturally in a relationship, there is one person who will wear the trousers, the more dominant partner, who naturally falls into the leadership role. That's normal. But for the tradwives, this notion that due to their religion and emphasis on traditional gender roles, she is submissive while he gets to lord it over her is hugely concerning to me. Just because you are a woman shouldn't give anyone the right to rule over you. And shall we acknowledge the elephant in the room that is staring at us straight in our faces, but wants us to think that we can't see him? These internet tradwives and stay-at-home trophy girlfriends who promote being submissive to your man, relying on him to provide for you, and staying home and not working, absolutely are working. All these TikToks and Reels and YouTube videos they make, they're making money. And when something consistently makes you money, it's almost like a job.
These women have made it their careers to tell women to not be financially independent while they make thousands online peddling this information.
So while they're harping on about being financially dependent on their man and not working, they are in fact working.
Tradwife content is a gateway to the alt-right pipeline for women, and it's this type of content that makes me so angry because it's so hypocritical and disingenuous. The tradwife ideology at its core is about embracing traditional gender norms, really gendered, nuclear, patriarchal divisions of labor. For men, that looks like financially providing, and for women, it looks like homesteading, child rearing, and not making your own money. And why I find this content so disingenuous and so hypocritical is because successful tradwife content creators on here are not living a traditional life. These tradwife creators are entrepreneurs. They're working. They're being paid through creator funds, brand deals, etc., etc. They're making their own income off the backs of telling you to give up yours. Sure, consume it as entertainment, but don't take it as advice.
Posing as a tradwife who doesn't have a job is their job. And while they're pontificating online about how feminine and soft it is to rely financially on your man, they are actually encouraging an entire generation of women to do the same. And that is hugely concerning. What happens when a woman solely relies on a man for her room, board, food, lifestyle, and expenses? She is easily controlled. A woman without her own access to money is in a very dangerous position indeed. When one person controls all the money, it can create a very unhealthy power dynamic. I know it seems sweet and romantic and innocent and feminine to allow allow the man to control the finances, saving us silly girls from having to use our brains and deal with numbers or money. But in reality, relying completely on someone else's income makes you vulnerable to financial control or abuse, where your partner might limit your access to money or use it to manipulate you. You may feel that you have no choice but to tolerate bad behavior and mistreatment because you don't have the means to leave.
When I was a 19-year-old girl, I fell in love. My Mormon faith told me that I was supposed to be a stay-at-home mom. I got married. I started having babies. I dropped out of college. And my Mormon stake president reminded me that women weren't supposed to work. So I quit my own business, handed it over to my husband, took my name off of it. I would work our family business throughout the next 24 years of my marriage, but I never got paid. And it never bothered me once that my financial security was dependent on that man being in love with me. I never realized that him liking me or not liking me or finding me sexy or attractive or interesting determined whether or not my children could eat.
When one person is the sole breadwinner and the other is entirely financially dependent, it creates a power imbalance. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not an issue when both partners are respectful, loving, and supportive. However, sometimes, unfortunately, even if your relationship started out as a fairy tale romance, that doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship is going to stay happy or healthy forever. And if you have no financial independence, no job, no personal savings, and no access to your own money, that leaves you in a very vulnerable position. The tradwife movement makes having a provider man look super romantic. It sells you the fantasy, soft living, financial security, somebody else handling the hard parts of life. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to want love, support, and even traditional dynamics in a relationship, but you can have all that and still not give up your financial independence. I know we all want to believe that when we get married, the man will love us forever and provide for us and always be stable and never cheat and never leave you.
It's okay, I forgive him. Everybody gets cheated on.
Because otherwise you wouldn't bloody marry him, right? But the sad fact is, even if the marriage started out with the best intentions, people change. People get bored. And if your entire life revolves around him, and if he knows that you're just waiting around all day for him to come home, and he knows that you depend on him emotionally, financially, physically, this might be controversial, and I'm sure a few of you are probably going to yell at me in the comments, but I think it's probably going to ruin the spark in your marriage. Believe it or not, most men, at least the ones I know, not all, but most, appreciate women who can stand on their own 2 feet, who can think for herself, who values herself, and who knows her worth, who chooses him not because she needs him necessarily, but because she wants him. Imagine being entirely dependent on a man, whether he's your husband or not, for your living expenses, housing, and even the basics like your groceries. If he begins to treat you poorly, or God forbid becomes abusive or controlling, or maybe you just kind of fell out of love with him, you're essentially trapped because you don't have the means financially to stand on your own 2 feet. And a woman who has to rely solely on a man is very easy to control.
Those of you who don't know, I was a stay-at-home housewife from when I was 17 to nearly 27. I was incredibly submissive and I loved him absolutely unconditionally regardless of what he did to me. I wasn't allowed to get tattoos. He had absolute say over what I looked like. He would decide how I dressed, how I wore my hair. I learned how to cook like a chef because his expectation was, from the time I was, again, 17 years old, was that I made everything from scratch. When you leave, you have no ability to make your own money. You have no financial independence. You have to figure out how to untangle all of his wants over your needs. I am still a good 10, 15 years behind everyone else my age.
Which is why some savvy tradwives aren't being so trad at all and are actually demanding salaries from their husbands to be a tradwife. When I first watched this video, I was like, but actually, she speaks a lot of sense.
This is exactly why my boyfriend gives me a $20,000 monthly allowance as a girlfriend. You need to secure a stay-at-home salary as a girlfriend from the very first date. Before you move in with a man, you tell him, it's scary out there. You have the power to make me homeless at any moment. So for my safety, security, peace of mind, and happiness, I need an allowance. If you cannot do that for me, I need to keep my career until you can. What I said to my boyfriend was, no matter how much I love and trust you, babe, most relationships end. I need to look after myself first in the case of that happening. Minimum $2,000 a month, ladies. Okay, now listen, I don't subscribe to the idea that men are trash and you shouldn't trust your husband. And I also don't believe that a man has to be rich to be a provider. However, if he cannot provide at least $2,000 a month of allowance for you, you are vulnerable. Even if he is the most perfect man on the planet and treats you amazing, what if he dies? Then what happens? All I'm saying is I love the idea of marrying somebody who is a provider and being a homemaker, but be smart.
Like Nia Talk says, it doesn't matter how much you love or trust your man, he has the power to make you broke, homeless, destitute. And that is not a position that you as a woman or anyone should ever allow yourself to be in if you can help it. And if this isn't proof that all that glitters is not gold, then I don't know what is. These quietly spoken, submissive, traditional tradwives are now turning on each other. And is it really any wonder when you're trying to mold yourself to be the perfect, soft, feminine woman that there is a high chance that you're going to end up cracking and taking your very normal, very human grievances out on other people? I watched this video from the tradwife influencer Jasmine. Here's the kind of content that she creates. Very beautiful, very aspirational. She's gorgeous, he's gorgeous, their kids are gorgeous. Jasmine, understandably, has taken umbrage with her fellow tradwife, Nara Smith.
Okay, listen, I'm your typical tradwife, okay? I post tradwife content. I have over 140 whatever thousand followers on Instagram. Not that I'm bragging, just trying to explain. Because I post tradwife content, okay? I understand the whole tradwife movement. I'm a part of it. Love it, okay? One thing I do not understand is these videos being like, my toddler requested Cocoa Puffs and jam scones and toast for breakfast. So now I'm going to make everything from scratch and cook it all, and it's probably going to take 6 hours. My toddler just asked for breakfast, and it's going to take me probably 3 to 6 hours to cook this toddler breakfast. Like, I'm sorry, but if I asked for toast for breakfast and my mom started making some bread, I would be pissed. I want toast now. Give me my Cocoa Puffs now. I don't want to wait 3 hours for breakfast. That's not how it works. Look, I understand that some of these are a joke. I get it. I get some of them are a joke. But some of them I feel like are being serious. Or maybe they're just doing it for views. I don't know. But I'm just saying, if I asked for toast and my mum started making bread, I would be so pissed off.
Who also happens to post very aspirational, very beautiful, highly aesthetic content. Nara focuses on cooking from scratch, being dolled up to the nines all the time, and talking in a very slow, very controlled, sexy voice that I couldn't even emulate if I tried.
After being the sickest I've probably been in a while, and my whole family not feeling great today, I decided to drag my body out of bed and make us all a tom yum soup because I knew that was going to make us feel better. Started by making my chicken broth, by simmering a whole chicken with some scallions and some water, and then moved on to making my shrimp chili paste by soaking some tamarind and then frying.
What the hell? Jasmine, however, is most unimpressed. She wasn't daft enough to call Nara out by name, but her followers didn't share the same restraint. That comment section is full of Nara fans sticking up for their favorite homemaker. And look, on one hand, I hear Jasmine. I mean, who could be asked making Coca-Cola from scratch?
My husband mentioned that he was craving Coca-Cola the other day, and since we were out of soda, I decided to make him some today. I started by making my caramel sugar by combining some water and sugar and letting that come to the hard crack stage before pouring it out and letting it cool. Once it was all cooled down, I broke it up and set it aside and moved on to zesting my citrus.
It's impressive, but on the other hand, I'm kind of like, don't you post the same kind of cooking from scratch content that Nara does? Like, here's Jasmine making bread, pasta, and pies from scratch. And good on her, those are great skills to have, but I don't blame these women for their building resentment. The tradwife community has famously strict and very high expectations of women. The women are expected to cook from scratch, maintain an impeccably clean home, and submit to their husbands like he's her master, all while presenting themselves with grace and poise and pretty sundresses. That level of pressure would be exhausting. So it's not really surprising, is it, that some of these women are starting to feel fed up and break their own rules.
Can I call you Rose? 'Cause you're sweet like a flower.
The reality is, very few women can consistently live up to the idealized image of the perfect wife without feeling burnt out or stifled. I can understand full well why women are choosing this lifestyle, but the tradwife movement is complex and nuanced. It's easy to see the allure of a life where a woman can focus solely on her family and home without the pressures of a career. And even if she doesn't have a family yet, who wouldn't want to essentially be paid by your boyfriend, stay at home and spend all day lazing by the pool and looking hot like their TikTok stay-at-home girlfriends? However, it's also crucial to acknowledge the potential dangers that come with relying entirely on someone else for financial stability and the implications of embracing a submissive role. The curated, idealized version of tradwife life that's presented online often glosses over the realities of depending dependency, loss of autonomy, and vulnerability. And while I can see why some women are drawn to this lifestyle, it's so important to approach it with eyes wide open rather than romanticizing a past that wasn't as picture perfect as social media might have us believe. I am gonna leave this video here. If you guys made it to the end of this video, head over to my Instagram. My Instagram name is @_Stephanie_Lang_. Leave any comment you like on any picture you like, and I'm gonna choose one of you at random to DM. I'll grab your address and I'll send you a little package to say thank you for making it to the end of this video. And don't worry, if you don't get a package from this video, I'm gonna do this on every video because I want to give back to you guys, and I can't DM you here on YouTube, but I can on Instagram. So I'm gonna continue doing this for the rest of the year, and hopefully eventually everybody will get something. I love your guts, you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!